So I'm going over the Aligned Round Rock curriculum, otherwise known as ARC for Round Rock ISD. I'm choosing to do 6th grade world cultures, and the way ARC works is you would click on the subject and it gives you the year at a glance based on 6 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and do the third 6 weeks because it only covers just the one unit. And so when you click on it, you're brought here. This shows you a very detailed summary of the TEKS covered in this unit, but the ARC takes it a step further. You can actually come over here and click on TEKS clarification. And when you do, you're brought here. And what the clarification does is it specifies, it goes into, let's say this first TEKS 6.1, and the TEKS says, trace characteristics of various contemporary societies, blah, blah, blah. Such factors such as invasion, conquest, colonization, immigration, and trade. And then the way it clarifies the TEKS or student expectations is by defining what they mean by trace. So this is Bloom's taxonomy, trace. And then they specify the characteristics of a contemporary society in Europe that results from historical events. And then they go a step further. What do we mean by invasion in this TEK or student expectation? And they specify. Conquest and colonization specify. So this really helps teachers not get confused, not mistranslate the TEKS and teach the wrong thing. And they do it for every single TEK covered in each unit. Compare, this is what we mean by compare. So it really helps translate the rigor verb and explain how it should be taught and how in-depth it should be taught. So I think that's pretty cool. Going back to this page, as you can see, the red shows which TEKS will be graded or will be tested on the 8th grade STAR. Even though this is 6th grade, they explain exactly which student expectation or TEK will be taught on the STAR, and then these red stars over here mean that this learning outcome is aligned with the 8th grade TEKS. So it's really clear the teachers, it's really hard for the teachers to mistranslate what needs to be taught, how it should be taught, the rigor at which it should be taught, and the depth. So let's click on assessment resources. So using this, teachers can go and look at past tests to see how the TEKS and student expectations were covered. To see how TEKS and SEs covered in 6th grade will be assessed in 8th grade. So down here they can look at the STAR assessments along with readiness supporting standards for each of the grades. Also, you can go and look at district curriculum assessment. So when you click on this for world cultures, which is 6th grade, and then click on this. So the middle school DCA plan is district common assessments. So after every unit, there's an assessment given by the district in order to test to see, how many of the students learned what needed to be learned. It used to be benchmarks, but now that they're district common assessments, they're tested every unit, which is pretty frequently. And this also ensures that teachers are staying aligned with the ARC timeline and they aren't jumping ahead units or taking too long in a certain unit. And so as you can see down here, the unit that I'm showing you is right here. Unifying Many Cultures of Europe, and it's saying final data scan February 26th. This is when you're expected to have tested it by. Okay. And then they also show data reports, which shows how each school in the district measured up on the district curriculum assessments, which you can see here, such as fall of last year. And it shows you each middle school, state passing, local passing, final passing. Going back. Okay. The next thing is vocab from that unit. I feel like Round Rock ISD on their ARC has done a really good job of providing many resources for teachers to teach their TEKS and student expectations, such as vocabulary. Just very clear, says, hey, this is the vocab we expect students to know for this unit, this 6 weeks. This is how they should be defined. And I feel like by doing this, Round Rock ISD keeps their curriculum super aligned with their state standards. And there's just really no confusion. You know, maybe what's in the textbook that's being taught, maybe it's a little outdated and the vocab words aren't as accurate. Well, teachers have these resources to come to and say, this is what's expected to be known. This is the expected definition to be taught. So along with that, they also give differentiation. Specifically for English as a second language students, they show how, you know, to implement the ELPS, and along with, I mean, what I noticed is the differentiation for at least this subject and this grade level is really just aimed at English language learners, not really SPED students. So the ELPS are the English language proficiency standards. So if you click on it, and then the ELPS are broken down into 4 types of understanding English: listening, speaking, reading, writing. And if you scroll down, it kind of gives teachers an idea of the level at which their students are at. If they think they're really advanced, this is how advanced they should be. This is what they should be showing in class. But if you go down, it gives you activities, techniques, and strategies for implementing the ELPS. And it says it's for implementing the ELPS and for helping English language learners, but it can really be applied also to SPED students. A lot of these will look familiar. They're from the PowerPoint that Dr. Canales posted on Tracks, such as graphic organizers. And not only does it just say, hey, graphic organizers, it explains what they are, how they can be used. So graphic organizers, word walls, and then they also do total response signals, which is down here, which really is a good thing to help check for understanding. And they give an example of how you can do total response signals down here, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, whiteboards, response cards. So their differentiation's really aimed at English language learners, but they do provide resources that could help teachers differentiate their teaching and curriculum for SPED students as well. Going back to this main thing, they have technology integration, which I thought was really cool. They, hold on. So here they have all of these different technology that can be used in the classroom, outside of the classroom as homework. And by clicking on any of these, I'll be taken to whatever technology this is, such as Gmail. If I click on this, it'll take me to Gmail. My only critique is that these technology tiles, rather than just take the teacher or me to the website that it's for, it'd be best if it went a little more in depth as to explaining how the technology can be used to help students learn and help teachers assess, you know, just kind of giving the teacher a good idea about how it would best be implemented in the classroom, rather than just be like, oh, Weebly. Well, maybe a teacher has no idea what that is and won't use it or utilize it, even though it could be a helpful tool. Going back. Oh, and then if you click on this, the technology TEKS, it kind of goes in depth saying how technology could be used in the classroom, such as using blogs or wikis as personal learning networks for students to collaborate with their peers. In here it talks about digital citizenship. You know, technology is kind of expected to be used in every classroom, so it's smart to teach digital citizenship. It discusses the relevance of technology, and it also, you know, tells teachers why it's important to use technology in the classroom. Somewhere in here it says that technology is relevant to students because it helps them apply it to college and career readiness, lifelong learning, and just overall daily living. And then let's go back here. Instructional resources. So this is cool. It gives writing prompts for each subject by semester. So if I'm a 6th grade world cultures teacher, I can go and click on here, and they give writing prompts for each unit covered. So the unit that I'm showing you is Unifying Many Cultures Europe, and it gives you a picture. Hey, give this to your students, ask them to write about this. So again, providing a lot of resources for teachers to test student understanding and assess what they've learned. Okay. And then over here, they talk about problem-based learning and project-based learning. So if you click on this website and then click resources, it gives you links for rubrics, examples of project-based learning, overviews of it, going back to instructional resources, live binders, which students can use to organize their learning online unit by unit. And then they also give TEA biographies, pretty much biographies of anyone you may need to know in history from kindergarten all the way on. And for 6th grade, there are no biographies because it covers places and people as a whole, so there's no specific person. But for a 7th grade social studies teacher, this could be really useful because, again, it's probably extremely aligned with the TEKS. They're telling you exactly what your students should know in order to test well and show that they've learned what needed to be learned. Cross-curricular connections, just kind of showing how certain units can be spanned across subjects or vertically across grade levels. So here, the only cross-curricular connection they give me is for just one unit. It says how it can be horizontally aligned with science, vertically aligned throughout middle school and high school. My only critique would be to add more units and align it with more subjects. It's good that they have one unit that can be aligned with one other subject, but they could probably look at a bigger picture and at least do more units that could potentially be aligned, because this is really useful in bringing relevancy to student learning. Okay, looking back at one second. It talks about pre-assessments, but I don't see it. Oh yeah, going back to assessment resources, it gives you, where is it? Oh, I think it's here. And then lastly, the pre-assessment is over here. The pre-assessments for the entire unit, or not unit, the entire year, or yeah, grade level. And it aligns with the TEKS really well, again, because it's given you straight from your district. So you don't kind of have to guess around about what should be pre-assessed because it's straight up given to you. As you can see, exactly what questions to ask, how to form the questions. So again, that helps keep everything aligned with the state standards. And that's about it for the aligned Round Rock curriculum.